another episode of the Needle Addict podcast. I'm your host, the Needle Addict, and today is the 1st of October. Yay! It's the spooky month or Halloween month or whatever you want to call it, but I have a lot of kind of Halloween themed crafts going on, and I even have a Halloween themed spin that I'm planning to do. So I'm very excited about that. And yes, only one thing to say before we get the show on the road is that my neighbors are doing some building, so I hope you won't be able to hear the drilling and sawing and banging that's going on. But they've been doing it all week and I don't know when they're gonna stop. And I did do like a quick test record and I couldn't really hear it in the sound, so I'm hoping that you won't notice. So it has been about a month since I last recorded an episode with finished objects and works in progress and that sort of thing, so I have a little bit to show you, and I think we'll start off with the works in progress. So the first thing I have is my Party City socks. So these I'm knitting with the sable yarns. Anyway, so that's the beautiful sable yarns. And it is a sock set, so it's 50 grams and 20 grams. I thought it was 25. So it's only 70 grams. I thought it was 75 grams. Anyway, 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon, and this colorway is called the Party City, so that's why I'm calling these socks my Party City socks. So what I'm actually doing for these, excuse this like a massive tangle of yarn and everything that's going on, but I'm actually knitting these consecutively. So I'm not knitting them 2 at a time because I find that I get more laddering up the side when I do 2 at a time. I don't know why. I don't have a problem with laddering when I just knit them 1 at a time, but as soon as I do 2 at a time, I just find I get laddering. But I'm knitting these consecutively because I am a little bit worried that 70 grams is not actually going to be enough for me to do my usual. I do 60 stitches in the leg, so I do 15 stitches for the cuff, 60 stitches for the leg, then I do 2 inches, well for me I do 2 inches for the heel, for my husband I do 2.5 inches for the heel because he has quite a high instep, but these are for me. And then I just knit the foot as long as it needs to be. So I'm a little bit worried that I'm going to run out. I do actually have still a fair amount left, so this I need to do. So I've just finished this heel, so I need to do the other heel and then the toes, so I'm hoping I'll have enough out of this. And then this is what I have left for the feet of the socks. So I'm hoping I have enough. As you can see, it is a massive tangle of ends, but it's working so far. And so the plan is that knitting them consecutively, by that, if you don't know what I mean I knit both of the cuffs and then I knit both of the legs, and now I'm doing both of the heels. So that way, if I run out, hopefully I'll run out at the same point in each sock, or I can engineer it that I run out at the same point in each sock. And so the plan for that is then if I need to add some other color or something, then it can be the same on both socks. So that is why I'm knitting them consecutively. Hopefully I won't run out. Also that's why, well, I always knit mine cuff down. I really need to try branch out and do like a toe up, because I've never ever knit a toe up sock. I've knit a lot of socks, but I've never done toe up, so I really should try that. But doing it cuff down also means that if I run out, it'll be closer towards the toe, so it'll be inside the shoe, and so you won't really notice that unless I have my socks or my shoes off. So these are being knitted with my usual Winnick Mum basic sock pattern, and with the 2.5mm needles, because I knit quite tightly, so I find that 2.5 is good for me. Oops. Good grief, I really need to sort these out at some point. And this is just in a bag that I sewed for myself. I really need to sew some more bags. As you will see, a lot of my whips are kind of in just general bags because I've run out of project bags. Although I also need to sort out my project bags, because it's not necessarily that I have so many projects on the go, it's just that I have stuff in the project bags that probably shouldn't be in there. But this is just bag that I sewed for myself a while ago, so I'll just tell you about it again. This blue color is from some shwe that I bought in South Africa, that I made some placemats for my husband for Christmas one year. And this is a blouse that was my mother's, and I think it tore or something. I'm not sure. She gave it to me, and so I cut it up and turned it into some project bags. So it's the same on both sides. So the next thing we have is quite a big project that I'm quite excited about, which is a shawl for my mom, which I'm kind of calling like my mother's UK 2019 shawl, because this is all yarn that she bought while she was on holiday in the UK recently. She has now gone back. Ooh, I left the label out. So this is how far I've gotten with it so far. Ta-da! I'm very excited about this. So I think it was July still. It could have been the beginning of August, but I think it was July. My mother and I went to a little town near Lavenham, and we bought some yarn dyed with woad. So I got some sock yarn, obviously, but my mom got this lovely merino singles. So I have a little bit left that I can show you. This is what I have left. Oops. So that's all I have left. But so it's a 100% merino singles that had been spun up and then dyed with woad, and it was this lovely sort of variegated, I suppose. I'm quite interested to see how it would knit up. Because I got a tiny bit left over, I'm going to try and knit this. It's not going to make a full square for my blanket, but I'm going to knit like part of a square with it for my blanket. But I just absolutely loved, in my mind when I saw the wool in the skein, I'll put a picture up, but when I saw it I thought, oh, that reminds me of Delft, and I feel like this also kind of reminds me of Delft. And it was so much fun to crochet up, because like I'd be doing a bit of this kind of plain bluey white color for a bit, and then I'd be like, oh, I wonder when the next bit of blues, like dark blue, is going to pop up, and then suddenly it would be there, and then it was so cool. And then seeing like, oh, does it layer on top of each other, or is there like big spaces in between? It was just so much fun to crochet because it was like constantly changing. So this is just like a simple kind of shawl, and I'm thinking of actually writing up this as like a pattern to show you how I split. Well, I'll tell you now, but I might write it up as a free pattern of just how I did the colors, because I'll put up a picture, but I'm using 3 different types of colors, and then I bold them up into different sizes so that I could do it. So basically I think it's going to have 5 sections plus the border. So the first section is just this plain woad, which is, so basically because I was working with 100 grams, it's exactly the same in percentages, but if you use a percentage you could use less than 100 grams for each, and you could just work it out like that, because this is going to be quite a big shawl, because it's going to be 300 grams in total. But this, by the way, the person who dyes this is Stuart, and he works at the Wool Patch. I don't know if he owns the Wool Patch. He might own the Wool Patch, but yeah, he works there, and that's where I met him. And so yes, he dyed that up. I'll just give me 1 second, because he had just started dyeing this. He didn't have labels for me at the time, but there is a label for the wool, the sock wool that I bought. So Lavenham Blue Wool Patch. And it's not a web address, but if you just, he has a blog and a website, so if you just type in like Lavenham Blue Wool Patch, you'll find it. So that's just my socks, which is 75% Blue Face Leicester superwash and 25% nylon, or ply obviously, but I just thought I'd show you that label. So yes, so this was 75 grams, which would be 75% if you weren't working with 100 grams, that I did in just plain Lavenham Blue merino singles. And then I went on to section 2, and this is alternating 2 stripes of the Lavenham Blue merino singles, and then this color here is Indigo by Mad Madam Mel. So I have her lovely label over here. and that is in the colorway is blue lace agate, and it's a tonal variegated, and it's an indigo. So the base is called Storybook. It's a 75% merino superwash and 25% nylon. So this is a 4-ply. It's not actually, it's, so like I said, it's a 4-ply. It's not a single, whereas the merino was a single. But I had a look and I felt like the thicknesses were close enough that it would work together. So when we were buying the wool for this shawl, we decided to try and stick to a merino so that it would all have the same sort of feel and the same sort of drape. But we just went for a 4-ply because we were at the Perth Yarn Festival, and there wasn't that much selection in kind of a single spun. So that is how this second part has kind of crocheted up. The last 2 rows I didn't do 2 of each, I just did 1 of each because I was kind of running out, the balls were getting kind of small. So like I showed you, I have a little bit left over of each of these. Oops. And so I'm going to try and put these into my blanket. This one I might get a full square out of, but that one I don't think I will. But I'm quite happy with how these turned out. So the third section is just going to be, so this was 25 grams of the indigo and 25 grams of the woad, so that I've used up all of the woad. Now I'm not going to be using 75 grams of the indigo for the third section. I'm going to be using 50 grams because I'm going to use another 25 grams mixed striping with the third color we have, which is Spellbound by Pixel Atlantis. Oops. So that is the label. And this is called Squishy 4-ply, and it's 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. And I will show you the color now. Oops. So for that one, so first section is just woad, second section is striping, woad and indigo, third section is just indigo, fourth section is indigo striped with Spellbound, fifth section is just Spellbound, and then there's going to be a border on the edge with more Spellbound. So like I said, I might write that up as like a free pattern because it's not really a pattern. I mean, I will show you how to crochet this, but this is really simple. But it's more on like how I did the color striping so that you get kind of a gentle fade in crochet. So I've been speaking about this one for a long time, but I'm really excited about it, and I'm hoping to get it done by November because my sister-in-law is going back to South Africa in November, and so she'll be able to give it to my mom, or her mom who can give it to my mom. So I'm very excited about that, and I really love how it's working out. And it's been getting a great reception on Instagram. I've been posting a bit of my progress and everything. And so, yeah, I'm really excited about that. Do I have anything else to say about it? No, I think I've told you everything. Yep. So that was just like a little insight into how I'm kind of making up the shawl, but I'm really excited about it. And that is just in like a random bag. I think this bag comes from Typo in South Africa. No, it doesn't. This is the Edinburgh University bag. I've got another one which is the same colour, but has a different design, which is from Typo in South Africa. But I went to the Edinburgh University open day and I got this bag. So, like I said, I kind of ran out of project bags. So they're just in random bags that I have. So that is it for my works in progress. And we can move along to finished objects. So my first finished object is in this bag, which is not a project bag, which I have sewn out of some dishcloths. My aunt is a graphic designer and she designed these for a festival in South Africa, and there was like a whole lot of extra ones left over after like the festival market thing, and she was getting rid of them, and so she gave them to me. They were supposed to be like dishcloth, dish towel things, and I sewed a bunch of them into bags. So this is where this is, and we have some socks. I think I should get a little sock blocker to show you these. So here you can see, unfortunately, the sock blocker is a little bit small. I need to buy some actual ones sometime. But this is my finished pair of the matchy socks that I'm doing for my husband and I. So these ones are for my husband. So the body of the sock is kind of this green color, and to him the reddy color is too pink. I suppose on this one it's a bit more pink. So I did the cuff in green. Usually I do the cuff in like the contrasting color as well, but I did it in green, so if it sticks out of his socks at work, he won't be embarrassed or something. There's nothing wrong with this color, but anyway, I'm going to be doing a matching pair for myself in the reverse colors. So it will be in the red color for the body of the sock, and the cuff and toe, and I mean the heel and toe, and I might do the cuff as well for myself, will be in green. So I have quite a bit left over of this. Yes, it's here. Oops. So here's the red. As you can see, there's still like loads left. So this is the Superba de Grade by Rico. And this colorway is 004, and I believe the green is 005. Yes, this one's 005. And so I bought these in Sky from a little craft shop, and it wasn't, I mean, it's not like this wool is particular to Sky, but it was the first time I'd ever seen it, so I just decided to buy it there because I haven't seen it on any of the online stores that I usually buy wool from, or in any of the stores that I usually go to in person. And so I feel like I have enough left over. I should actually wind this up into another ball or a cake, but I feel like I have enough left that I can do cuffs as well for mine, which I might do just because I like doing the cuffs as well. But those will be the matchy socks. These are knit on 2.5mm needles as usual. My husband and I both use a 64 stitch kind of circumference. I do 2.5 inches for the heel flap for my husband because, as I said before, he has quite a high instep. And I again use the Winnick Mum basic sock pattern, and I really feel like I should branch out and try some other ones because there's nothing wrong with the pattern. It's a great pattern. That's why I use it all the time. It's basically, if I don't say what the pattern is, I've probably used the Winnick Mum one. But I feel like I knit so many socks, I really should branch out and try some other ones. I was trying last time I showed you, I knit a pair out of these men's socks that I got. It was like a pattern book for, there were 4 different types, and so I've knit one of them, so I do want to knit the other 3. But they are, I do have to do like a little bit of maths with them because it is literally just one size for the sock. There's no kind of scaling involved at all, so I do have to kind of figure out how I'm going to change it to fit myself. I think that's everything. Oh, if you have any sock patterns that you love, please let me know. I'm not a huge fan of doing too much fiddly bits. Like, I have a pair of socks which have a cable running up them that I've been working on for the longest time. It just takes me so long because I really have to concentrate. Blueberry Waffle as well, I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's I've done one pair in Blueberry Waffle and it's not as bad because you don't have to concentrate as much, but it wasn't my favorite. But if you have any other sort of more like vanilla socks or like very simple pattern, like pattern repeat, then let me know in the comments. I'd love to know and try them out because yeah, I just knit too many socks to only be knitting one pattern. Oops, take this off. Then I have a finished object to talk to you about, but I can't really show you in person, although I will post pictures because I think I spoke a bit about this last time, but I didn't have pictures, so I want to tell you again. My mom has carpal tunnel syndrome, and so she can't really knit, but she used to knit a lot, and so she really misses knitting. So every now and again she starts a new knitting project and then can't finish it because of her carpal tunnel. So when she came over in end of July, beginning of August, she brought with her a shawl that she had started knitting and that she couldn't finish, unfortunately. So she brought the needles and the wool and everything, and she brought it for me to come finish for her. So that's what I worked on mostly while my mom was here, was finishing her shawl. I'll post a picture here. And it's a really lovely shawl, and I convinced her to take some pictures for me. And she still has my mannequin that I had in South Africa. I really miss my mannequin. So I have a dressmaker's doll, which I definitely will have sent across from South Africa because that was a birthday present, and it was, yeah, it's not something that I would just like get rid of. But I'm not sure if I can have my just like mannequin sent across. First of all, I don't know if I have any space in my craft room or my house for this, but anyway, I call it Penelope. So my mom used Penelope to model the shawl, which was really fun. And the shawl ended up being like a really interesting sort of texture because my mom was using these really she was using really small needles, that's right. She was using really small needles, but because of her carpal tunnel and that sort of thing, and just different tension, like it was quite a loose gauge. And then when I started knitting, it suddenly became this really tight gauge because I knit really tightly. So it's kind of like a quarter of it is like this really loose gauge, and then the middle section is like quite tight, and then I left the second quarter to wait, or fourth quarter I suppose, until I got back to my house. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that. My washing machine just went into spin mode, and it sounds like there's an aircraft trying to take off in my kitchen. Anyway, sorry about that. So I waited till I got home, and then I changed the needles to like a much bigger. I think I went up like 3 sizes of needles, and I managed to get it back into that really loose gauge, and then I finished the second half. So it's kind of this interesting kind of texture wise. My mom was also grading. It's all the same colorway, but she used different dye lots, and so it also kind of grades the color kind of from lightest to darkest. So it was quite a fun little knit, and she just made up the pattern. So it was also kind of interesting trying to reverse engineer the pattern because she had like done all the increasing, and then I had to figure out when she was decreasing, because it wasn't just straight increase or straight decrease. It was sometimes it was increase or decrease every row, but then sometimes it was like every second or third row. So it was interesting trying to like mimic it. I don't know if I got it perfectly, but my mom's very happy with it. So yeah, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about that shawl. Then my next finished object is this really cute little golden snitch, and I put wire in the wing. Ooh, let me hold it like that. Oh, I do actually have, unfortunately, because of the wings, it kind of flops backwards, but I suppose if you put it against the wall or something, then it would hold up. But the wings have wire in them, so they can like fold and stuff, which is, I think, quite fun. So recently it was one of my friend's birthdays from knitting, and I know that he's really into Harry Potter. He even had like a Harry Potter themed wedding cake. So I decided to make him a golden snitch, and when I showed oh dear. So I decided to make him a golden snitch for his birthday. And when I showed like some of my family, then one of my cousins asked if I would make her one. So I'm making one, or I've made this one, and it's gonna go back to South Africa with my sister-in-law again. And so yeah, I just think it's really cute. I made the pattern up, so it's just a little ball and then some wire, and then I just like made a pattern. I just drew a pattern for the wings and cut it out, and then I hand stitched along here. This was actually really fun. Like, it took a long time to hand stitch them all, but it was just fun. I just enjoyed it, and you can see it's like reversible. So yeah, I'm really happy with this little golden snitch. Whoops. Let's just put it here for now. So that's been hanging in my craft room. So when it leaves, I might have to make myself one because I'm getting kind of attached to it. Okay, then is that the last thing? Yes. So the last thing I have for finished objects is some of the charity beanies and scarves and things I've been making, because like I said in the last episode, my mom brought over some of my grand's wool stash, and my grand largely knit for charity, so I decided that I would do the same. So I still have quite a bit, so I will do some more. But I did I do 3 beanies? I thought I did 4. Okay, anyway. So it was just a simple, basic beanie pattern. And here's one in green and yellow. I think this is the first one I did. And another one in red, orange, and yellow. And then I crocheted a scarf, and this, oh sorry for the crinkling. This is just like a basic crochet scarf. It is done in single crochet, I think. I can't even remember. I don't know if it's a single crochet or a half double crochet. It's probably a half double crochet. And I think it's just 6 rows of the one color and then 4 rows of the other and then another 6. I think. I can't remember. But it was just like a really basic pattern. It is in my Ravelry project, so if you wanted to have a look at that, you could. Oops. And then I did a whole lot of squares. I did a whole lot of crochet squares because I know there's some charities that take squares for making blankets. And so I just crocheted up a whole lot of granny squares, just using up some of the colors and that sort of thing. So I think, yeah, there's a lady at my knitting group who takes, I think she might take the squares, but she definitely takes beanies and scarves. So I'm just gonna give those to her and she donates them to a charity. So that is my charity knitting crochet vibes. Yeah, so I thought I'd just show you that. Then I do have some acquisitions. But I have one tiny little bit of acquisitions just because I was going down to my local Bernardo's, which is like a charity store if you're not from the UK. And when I went in, some lady was dropping off some wool, so then I was tempted. And it was like a sweater's quantity, so the first lot is these. Ta-da! So I think, yeah, there's 8 balls of this, and it's 100 grams each. It's 100% acrylic. But I just loved that it's like this sort of tweedy vibes. I just thought it will make such a great cable jumper, so that's what I'm planning to make, is a cable knit top for myself. So yeah, and also I prefer, I've said this before, but I prefer 100% acrylic for my jumpers because I get really hot really easily. Like I overheat a lot. So yeah, I prefer acrylic because I don't get as warm. So yeah, that's just a quick little thing, which is like a future knitting plan. Like I know what I'm going to make with it, but I just have so many plans and not enough hands. Pretty much that sums it up. And then the other thing that was dropped off at the same time was these two 400 gram, yeah, 400 gram balls. This is actually 75% acrylic and 25% wool. And I also have a plan for this. I'm planning to crochet a jumper. I'm going to make up my own pattern and I'm going to crochet a jumper, and I'm actually going to buy another. I've noticed that the Aldi near me sells a 400 gram ball of wool, so I'm going to get another color to go with this and crochet up a jumper. It's going to be like super oversized because I find that my crochet is not as stretchy as my knitting, and so I think like if it's oversized then that's fine because it doesn't need stretch. So I'm quite excited about that. Like I'm really excited. I've never crocheted a jumper before, so super exciting, but I have too many plans, too many things going on. So that brings me to my last section, which is kind of future knitting plans. I have a present for someone, which is socks, so I've got to knit that, but I can't say who it's for. But I then have a beanie that I need to make for my sister's boyfriend. I was going to say brother-in-law, but they're not actually married, so person who is very close to me and I've known for a very long time. And so I think I'm going to make him a beanie. I might also make him a scarf, but the first plan is a beanie, and I'm not sure if I should do cables or just plain. I think I might do cables. And I've asked my sister what colors he likes, and he can wear wool. So my sister is allergic to wool, so I can only make stuff out of acrylic for her, but apparently he's not allergic to wool, so that's great. So I'm gonna have to find something and knit him a beanie. I'm thinking of a cable because I think it'll just look nice. But yeah, so that I've still got to find a pattern for. And then my sister, I'm making her gloves. I have a pattern that I kind of made up. it's kind of like a combination of another pattern I was using, and then I made up because I didn't like the whole of the pattern that the other, anyway, it doesn't matter. So I made some gloves recently for my sister-in-law, and my sister saw them and was like, oh my goodness, I want some of those. So I'm making my sister a pair of gloves for Christmas. And then I also have I have a bag project that I want to make for a friend, but I can't say who it is because I don't know if she watches. But anyway, I'm gonna make another bag. So I designed this bag a while ago, and I wrote up the pattern, and one person has tested it for me. Now I need to write up the changes that they gave, and then I've got another friend who said they'd test it for me, and then I really need to just publish the pattern. But you know me, I just second guess everything. So it's this bag. Oh, there you can see the flowers I sewed on it. So it has a sewn handle, sewn lining so that nothing can fall through it, and then it has like a little ribbon tie in the middle to close it. So I'm thinking of making one of these bags for a friend of mine for Christmas, but that'll also be an extra test. So friends tested it, I'll write up the pattern changes, another friend's going to test it, and I'll re-follow my own pattern and then like make sure that it works, and then I will publish this pattern. So I really like it. And like the sewing is optional, but I really don't like, I've got a bag up there and I don't use it that much because it doesn't have a lining and things fall through it, and it like stretches like with these handles, because it's a material handle sewn onto a material lining, then they won't stretch if you put something like vaguely heavy in it. So yeah, that was another Christmas thing. But those are all for Christmas presents. So I've got lots of time to do those, but I do want to do those before I start. Like I've got those matchy socks that I want to do for myself. I have these socks that need to be done. I have some double knit for some socks that I want to knit some double knit socks. My husband wants some house socks. I have those jerseys or jumpers that I bought wool for that I want to crochet. I have some amigurumis I want to crochet. I have some brown wool that my mom wanted I think she wanted a cowl. No, I can't remember. I have written it down. And then I have a bunch of embroidery I'm supposed to be doing, and a tapestry has started. So like I said, I have way too many projects and not enough hands, and it's kind of getting me down. Not getting me down, but like I feel a little bit stressed. Like I have a lot to do and I need to just do it. But then I also have other things I want to keep up with, like I have my Etsy store I need to keep on top of, and I have art I need to keep on top of, and I've got to clean the house sometime. So yeah, I'm just super busy at the moment, but it does mean I should have lots to show you. And so I'll probably try and keep this to like a once a month, maybe once every 2 weeks. It depends on how much I've got done, and also how much time I have to do things. But I've enjoyed recording today, and I hope that you've enjoyed seeing all the stuff I've made and all the plans. I need to find a pattern for that jumper, the cable jumper, but I suppose it's not really very urgent. I need to find a pattern for my sister's boyfriend's beanie first. But yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed watching this, and let me know if you have any sock patterns for me to try. I'd really like to try some new sock patterns. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe so you can get more videos. Yeah, until next time. Bye!